Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah. Doing pretty good. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. See how long that lasts. Because this was going to be a solo episode, but I was talking to you and you seemed to not know, like, you didn't know the subject and what I was talking about, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me surprise you, because it's pretty interesting. It's pretty, I mean, if you're into the news and politics, like, in an unhealthy rate, you're gonna know about this. But I think it's very important for people to know this. All right. So story time.
All right, we're here. Let's go.
All right.
We get relaxed.
So this story is an example of probably the most corrupt thing like the most obviously corrupt thing a sitting president has ever done. Like comically corrupt. Like,
all right,
mustache twirling villain. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So I made some notes because I want to be as accurate as possible.
All right. Hit me.
Let me get to it.
You got me really curious. There's been a lot of crazy presidents in the past. So
all right. So, and this is recent. This is like just happened.
Yeah.
All right. So the story starts in 2020. Well, actually, it starts before 2020. So I don't know if you remember, if any of us are old enough to remember, because each day feels like 2 years worth of time has passed in the Trump era. But
the Twilight Zone.
But you remember like the whole tax return thing? Like, people
show me your returns.
Yeah, show me returns.
They're requesting it. Yeah.
Yeah, which is an unprecedented ask. Like, ever since the Nixon administration, all presidents have been asked to show their tax returns, just to some transparency, to make sure there's no like corrupt stuff happening as far as finances. Like, they're, essentially it's to show that like they're not being paid by like a foreign party or something like that, right? Like somebody, like the Russians aren't going to come to them one day like, you owe us this much money, so give us the nuclear codes, blah, 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 blah. Right? So the thing with Trump is Trump was the first president to say, nah, I'm good. I'd rather not give you my tax returns. Varying excuses. The most common, and please feel free to interrupt,
No, I'm taking it all in. We're going down memory lane.
Go down memory lane, right? The biggest excuse, if you remember, was he's being audited.
Yeah. You're bringing back memories. I tried to purge them, but it occurred.
Yeah. So he's like, history. I'm being audited. So he's being audited like the whole 4 years of his first.
Yeah.
Right. So in 2020, a whistleblower in IRS, his last name was, what was his last name? Hold on a second. I got it here. Little John. Yeah. It's interesting, right? His last name was Little John.
That was a real name?
Real name. And he was a contractor working for a defense firm with the IRS. And so he leaked Trump's tax returns. And that was again, a billion things happened in one day ever since the Trump first term, right? So I give people grace for not remembering this stuff, right? But it was a big deal because we found out that Trump paid like $125 worth of taxes, like
something
in 10
ridiculous.
years, something like crazy, like like it wasn't good. No one really knows what the consequences of that would be because he ended up becoming president again. So right. So what ended up happening is Trump sued the IRS once he became president. So in 2026, 2025. Damn it! When was he re-elected? Was it?
He just started
24
a year ago.
24. Yeah. Sorry, 2024. God, 2024. He becomes president again, and he sues the IRS, which is interesting because the IRS at this point, he's the head of the IRS, right? He appointed the person running the IRS. So essentially, he's suing himself for
strategic.
How much do you think he sued them for? I'll give you.
I don't know, 100 million.
100 million.
Yeah. I mean, that's already ludicrous, but
it's ludicrous. All right, he sues them for $10 billion.
Oh my God, this guy's a make-believe villain, bro. This guy's straight a Disney villain. That's right. 10. Can you say that serious? $10 billion.
$10 billion, bro. Like I feel like wild. Like that's kind of crazy, right? That's obviously like corrupt, right? Like he's suing his own IRS. Like that's just whatever. Most legal experts at the time, and correctly so, say that this isn't gonna it's not gonna work. Like it's first of all, the whistleblower was a contractor. He didn't work directly for the IRS. He ended up in jail for 5 years. Well, he got convicted and sentenced to 5 years in prison. It was on legally dubious grounds. Trump knew he wouldn't win, but apparently that wasn't the point. So the Justice Department is the organization that handles this. It's Trump's Justice Department. You remember Pam Bondi, who got fired recently, right? Attorney General. Whatever. So he appoints, after Pam Bondi gets fired, Trump appoints a interim attorney general because I don't think he could get anybody confirmed. Mm-hmm. And the interim attorney general just so happens to be his former attorney.
Convenient.
So Trump's former personal attorney is the one who is the plaintiff. He's the one Trump is suing, right?
Is this at what point is this not like? This doesn't seem like how is this possible? What the loophole?
It's crazy, right? Like I hope I'm making sense while I'm saying this because I'm not even looking at my notes. Let me hold on.
I mean, honestly, all of this is so ludicrous. It doesn't make sense regardless. Yeah. So,
let's go. Hold on. Let me keep going here. So, all right. So Trump realizes that this isn't going anywhere. He's not going to be able to get this. Even suing himself is not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. So they settle. Right? And he settles, surprisingly, for $0. So he's not going to get any money from this settlement.
Okay.
Sounds good, right?
It's already weird, but continue.
I'm saying $0.
$0.
Right.
From 10 billion?
Yeah.
We're moving from 10 billion down to...
So story done. Everything's good. Trump saw the problem with all this, and he was like, you know what? I was a bad guy. That was corrupt. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do anything else. That's not what happens.
But then,
so
here we lie.
So let's look at the settlement agreement, shall we? All right. Let's look at the settlement agreement. So Trump cuts a deal with his own Justice Department, led by his former personal criminal defense attorney, Todd Blanche, that's his name. And they settle the case on behalf of the government. The settlement gives Trump and his family a formal apology and $0 in damages. So that's that. They get no money.
Okay.
But there's some fine print. There's two things.
Well, the first thing, this fine print is about to be like...
It's crazy.
Something stupid.
The IRS is now declared, and I quote, forever barred and precluded from auditing Trump's past tax returns. Forever.
Like just pure, like straight immunity, like this immunity from...
And not just Trump and his family.
Bro. Okay. The whole squad.
That's one. That's one piece.
And there's more. Why?
And there's more.
Continue.
Number two. So the $10 billion lawsuit, the $10 billion lawsuit, right, that got settled, was supposed to be using a judgment fund that exists within the Justice Department. So that's money that they're able to hand out as settlements for suits that doesn't have to get congressional approval. So they're able to give out this money and they don't have to go through Congress. So what they did, they're tapping almost $2 billion of that. $1,776,000,000. He likes that number. It's a year that the country was founded. So it's very arbitrary. It's crazy, right? And that almost $2 billion is being put towards an anti-weaponization fund. Anyone who claims they were victims of government lawfare can file a claim and get paid.
Okay.
Right? And guess who decides who gets this money?
It can't be like a separate group. It would never be a third party, an outside group.
So Trump's
manage this.
Trump's former personal defense attorney, who he settled this with,
yes,
right, gets to choose 5 people, his choice, of who decides to give this money out. But
so he gets to choose a committee.
Yeah, but Trump gets final say.
So he doesn't get to choose the committee.
There was a congressional hearing on this, and they asked directly, like, will January 6 rioters be eligible for this? And they refused to answer.
Cool. Continue.
So, I mean, that's the brunt of it, really. Like, that is probably the most transparently corrupt thing. Like, let's break it down. Let's hold on. This is why I have my notes here. Let's go.
Please do, because wow.
All right. Let me. Trump spent years hiding his taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. A whistleblower exposed those taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Trump gets elected again.
Somehow, yeah.
He sues his IRS, right? In a suit that he knows he's not going to win. So he settles it with the Justice Department that's headed by his former personal defense attorney to create a fund that pays out people convicted of committing crimes for Trump.
It's quite the elaborate scheme.
And he can no longer be audited by the IRS.
So if this was any group of citizens that ever tried doing this, would this not be a felony?
You can't do this. It's not even, nobody has the power to do this.
That's wild. Cool.
Nobody.
This is the number one historical hustle right here. This is wild.
Even Mitch McConnell had something to say about this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find that. He called this slush fund a slush fund that's set up only to pay people who assault cops. And he said that it's utterly stupid and morally wrong. Mitch McConnell.
He had some strong words. Okay.
So what do you think? We're doing pretty good as a country, huh?
We're doing phenomenal. We are setting the
right.
best example of what corruption should look like.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be like us, rest of the world. So
wow, yeah.
It's not hopeless.
Please give me some shining light, because it seems pretty hopeless as of what you've shared thus far.
So 2 of the Capitol Police officers who were attacked in January 6th, they're suing the government right now to block this. So hopefully this goes to the Supreme Court. Again, who knows what the Supreme Court's going to do? Like a lot of this is really on dubious at best legal grounding. So I don't know. But there's nothing really stopping the next administration from turning this all back, right? Typically, settlements between interagencies, like a settlement between the executive branch, like in the judicial, I mean, they're the same branch, but these things aren't really binding and they can be turned over. So, it doesn't necessarily mean that Trump will forever be barred, depending on how we vote and who we put into power from getting audited. And it doesn't mean that, we can't claw back any money that was handed out to people that shouldn't have gotten it.
So what you're saying is there is a potential Uno reverse for...
Yeah. I mean, that's the one. But it's just so... just thinking about, the fact that this is happening.
Yeah.
In America, like a place... this is stuff... Again, both of us, we're children of immigrants, and we hear stories about the countries where our parents come from and how corrupt politicians can be, blah, 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 blah. But you typically don't, we have our urban legends about the government and what they do and don't do as far as corruption.
Yeah.
But this is a blatant, in your face.
Yeah.
Form
it's usually
of
more discreet. It's usually a lot more discreet than just, I almost feel as though the boundaries are just constantly being tested.
Yeah.
For how much, the American people will, I don't know. I don't even know if it's fully accept or just be in awe of there's no way he's going to go and do this. And then he goes and does it. And then it's well, there's no possible way he can go any further than that. And it's just he keeps one upping, which I don't know how he keeps getting away with it. No. Yeah, it's definitely a mind boggle here. He
feels untouchable. In part of it, the part that bothers me is, it's many things that bother me, but it's I'm pretty sure the MAGA faithful will be okay with this. And not that they don't think it's corrupt, but it goes to something that I said before, that it's not about Trump doing the right thing. It's about Trump getting back at their perceived enemies.
Yeah.
It's about Trump making the left feel bad about DEI.
Creating an enemy, essentially. Yep.
Yeah. And it's fundamentally toxic to a functioning democracy. And I, for one, feel like we need to find a way. Once this is all said and done, we need to find a way to better insulate the country from this type of just blatant corruption, or just protect us from the whims of people that really don't care about a functioning government. They just want their enemies to be hurt.
What are some ways that, some strategies, what are some thoughts on, how do we guard ourselves from this type of corruption in the future?
That's a good question.
What are some of the tools available for the everyday citizen?
Well, we had tools. One of the tools that was set up to protect the most powerful offices in this country, or the most powerful office in this country, from being held by a corrupt, blatantly corrupt or incompetent person, were political parties. I think people have a misunderstanding when it comes to political parties, that they're supposed to be this super democratic form of electing people, which was never really the case. Political parties aren't part of the constitutional makeup of this country, right? There's something that emerged based on a need. And that need is to make sure that we're electing the best possible people. And that doesn't mean the person that's 100% locked into what you want, right? It's about finding somebody that, for the individuals, is having somebody that may be closer to your priorities, right? But the political parties are a filtering mechanism. They're supposed to filter out people like Donald Trump. And as time went on and the process became more and more democratic, as in more and more people had a say, parties became more influenced by the whims of the majority of people in these parties. And again, I don't know how this is coming across, but this is some real talk. This is some real talk here. Democracy is important, but democracy, something that's 100% democratic isn't necessarily good. The founders talked about this all the time, the tyranny of the majority, right? Just because something's a majority opinion doesn't mean it's right. And the whole point of a liberal democracy is that you have the influence of the people, but that's always should be filtered through checks and balances. Government isn't the only thing that's supposed to be subjected to checks and balances. The people are too. We're supposed to be led by quote unquote the best of us, right? And that doesn't mean these people are better, but at least people that understand how government works, understand the rules and norms and traditions that keep us functioning as a legitimate liberal democracy. And I think that as more and more time goes on, we start to lose that. And my hope was that there was a silver lining in electing somebody like Trump. I didn't vote for him, but I'm like, if he's going to win and be as bad as people think he's going to be, I'm hoping that instead of it growing like this cynicism among the public where more people just say F it and just stop getting involved, people realize oh, this is what true corruption is. This is what corruption looks like, right? And kind of go back to, I don't want to say status quo, because status quo has a lot of negative connotations. And I think
for sure,
as a progressive, I want things to change over time, but it needs to make sense. Certain things that we do, we've done for a reason. And we tend to let people that don't know what they're talking about most of the time sway our opinions on as to what should be or what ought to be.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Or am I just rambling? I feel like I'm rambling.
No. I mean, it's a strong ramble in the sense of, you're bringing a lot of different thoughts together. I know one, just thinking about the silver lining, my brain kind of branched off from there and was just thinking, one would have thought that by seeing the extremes of this individual that you're like, oh, that would be like the shock that people like the reality of, oh man, we see what a dictator starts out as, we see what, if someone's left to their own devices with so much power, like the things that they will do. And it's like, as I said, he keeps pushing the envelope further and further to kind of, see how far he can go with it. And I feel as though I would hope that everyone would be voting against that type of individual running this country. But it turns out that just people become more, as you said, they become either apathetic, completely just shut down and just kind of disconnect, or they continue to reinforce it, thinking that they just need to ride the wave. If the current's going this way, let's just ride with it. And that's definitely not, obviously that's a select few. It's not, those are the diehard MAGA in the sense, but the easy choice is to do nothing. And unfortunately that I feel, a lot of the narratives, a lot of the storytelling, I know we've talked about that in many cases, that the storytelling somehow, I don't know why it's so compelling for people to follow the way certain news cycles go. Some of the stories they've been fed, and I just feel as though I'm really trying to figure out what has led everyone. I mean, outside of I guess when I think about myself, when I want to disconnect, the fact that I didn't even know the story is because I turn the radio off on occasions.
You're welcome.
But then I'm
so sorry, bro.
I have friends like you though who just keep me current. You give me the TLDR, or drop it via video live and just see my reaction. But yeah, there's a certain extent of, I guess, speaking for my own ignorance. I don't know what I can do about this tyrannical, person running this nation right now. It's like, what can I do for my position? I know which way I'm going to vote as soon as I get the power, the opportunity to vote again. But it's just like between now and then, what? Yeah. What to do?
And that brings up another point, and that's just like, and I don't want to keep kicking this. Well, I haven't kicked this dead horse on this platform, but I've talked to you multiple times about it.
Yeah.
And it's just people who, even to this day, say like, well, Kamala would be no different. Like, what?
I think that's just something you say because you made the wrong choice. It's kind of like you're not accepting the L. Like, no, you failed. You failed. You chose the wrong candidate. Yeah. That's just what it is.
And I think people are afraid that, like, do you mind if I'll edit this out if you don't want to talk about this, but like you voted third party, right? And we talked about it, and even somebody like me who's like, damn, why do people vote third party? Like, we had a good conversation about it. And I think that you explained your reasons. I told you how I felt about it, and we moved on. Like, it wasn't, oh, I hate you, blah, 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 blah. Like, no. Right? Like, and I think it's up to people like me to also have some grace for people like you who we care about, who we may have thought made maybe the wrong decision. But I don't even know if we have the right to even say that, like, in a real way, because your vote is your vote, and that's your right to vote. And I don't think you're not one of those people that are like, yeah, Kamala would have been, I did it, doesn't matter, because Kamala would have been no different. Like, I mean, obviously she wouldn't be doing this.
She would have been significantly different. And anyone who says otherwise is deceiving themselves. Yeah. And, and what it was, I know, just to kind of expound on that conversation, because I don't care who knows how I vote or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's effectively, I realize, being a newer voting citizen over the years of
Tristan's an anchor baby.
I am a anchor dual citizen, whatever that means. Yeah. I've done my legal share of time, and paid a lot of money.
You did it the right way. As
I did it the right way, not the illegal way. With all that said, though, with my new voting powers that I have, I've noticed a lot of things on the ballot that they don't necessarily educate you on. I mean, you get your citizenship, you swear the oath, and then it's like, okay, go be free citizens in the United States of America. And I'm like, okay, so how do I vote? Like, what is the parameters? And it was at that point where we had some discussions about, I'm like, oh, I didn't realize there's more options. Like, I thought you just had to be like Republican all the way down, which you can do, I learned, or Democrat all the way through, or you can kind of pick and choose between, certain aspects. Like you're going to be majority one or the other as a party, but then you get to kind of finesse some of the stuff that are specific to your state, specific to your region. Yeah. So, learning all that stuff, I was like, there's a lot more than just the presidential, I realized, which was pretty amazing. But anywho, we can have a whole discussion another time about what it feels like to be a new citizen.
That'd be an interesting conversation, actually.
Yeah. I'll jot down some thoughts on there at some point. But crazy. I don't remember where I went off on my tangent there from, but
that doesn't matter. We're about a minute away from ending this.
Perfect.
I know I usually like you to have the last word. But I think you say that beautifully. Unless you have something else to say.
Nah, man. Love and peace. So it's just
love and peace.
It's just good vibes. Yeah. Let's stick together. Let's see one another as humans all the way through each conversation. And don't dehumanize. That's lame. That's so 50 years ago. That was so Let's stop it. Let's realize where the real issues are. And open your eyes.
All right. Well, thank you once again.
Yeah. Thanks for having this conversation with me, man, and waiting to burst my bubble at this point in my day. Appreciate
I like to depress people. I like to depress my friends with.
That's why we keep you around.
Current things.
That's why I bring joy where I can. Try to offset the shadows. Shoot.
All right, brother.
Well, yeah. Peace.
That's it.